Good morning, everybody. My name is Joshua. Welcome to this morning's market review. It's a wonderful time to be here again. Yeah, and I hope we'll be making it too. The week, the week has been a wonderful week. The market has been moving up and down, and I want to believe that we all have been able to take all the opportunities seen in the market from the buying and the selling. Wow, it's really been wonderful. It's been a profitable week. All right, before I move on, let me use this opportunity to acknowledge each and every one of us here first. Um, yes, good morning to Al Hassan Abubakar. Good morning to Chukwuemeka Anozie. Good morning to Emmanuel Tunji. Good morning to Felix Anyu. Good morning, Olayide Akim. Yes, good morning to you all. And it's a wonderful, I'm happy to be here again. I'm really happy to be here again. Although this morning, I'm a little bit surprised. The number is really on the low side. In fact, if there's anything below low, I'll say yes, it is low. Well, I don't believe that. Yes, everybody's awake for the morning move. One or two things you could say urgent 2K, let me put it that way, but we here will not say urgent 2K. Let's say urgent 1 million, urgent 2 million, you understand? Because this market is really dishing out the profit to us. The real thing that is needed is just for us to be patient and what? Make the right entry. With the right entry, you come out well in good profit. Yeah, good morning to you, Felix, and good morning to you, Olaide Akem. Okay, so just to know that everybody's able to hear me clearly, please kindly come to the chat section. Also drop it there for me loud and clear. Loud and clear, please. I'm waiting for us loud and clear. I expect us to do that. So I'll know that yes, everything is working fine. All right. I know some people are just joining us from what I can see. I can see that some people are just joining us. Okay. Ola Feni is just joining us. Good morning to you. Yes. Good morning to you, Ola Feni. Good morning. Uh, Agumbai Deshun is also joining us. Good morning to you. All right. Thank you, Olaf Afeni. You're saying loud and clear. All right, that's interesting. Alaide Akim is also saying loud and clear. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. It means you all can hear me from where you are. Okay. Yes. All right, so with that, be able to move. Bola Dayo, good morning to you. Yes, good morning. You all are welcome to this morning's market review. Okay. Al Hassan Abubakar, good morning. Yes, good morning. Thank you very much. I really love that. Okay, so it shows that everybody's able to hear me, but if you're unable to hear me based on your location, please, I'll kindly advise you change your location, maybe where you're seated. You can just switch off your device and on it. Sometimes we do you just discover that you're standing at a particular spot, but you're unable to hear the person you're communicating with, but the person is able to hear you clearly. There are some certain mysteries in the air that we might not be able to explain. It could be due to um, some heavy machines around that particular location. Nobody knows. Maybe there's a strong transmitter or transistor around that point that could affect it. That could be one major issue. So at the same time, it could be weather. So just switch off your device, on it, change your location if it's not working. And yeah, you'll be shocked that sometimes it could just be as simple as that. You see that everything begins to work. You understand? Yeah, good morning to you, Emmanuel Tunji, loud and clear. Thank you very much. Okay. So first thing first, we're going to look at what is happening in the market from the fundamental part of it, because looking at this market, we discover that yes, this market has actually been moving fundamentally. We've been having different news coming in from different places. And sometimes it could just be a breaking news. Sometimes you just see that the market begins to move. You're unable to explain what is happening exactly. By the time you check your news, platforms, then you see that a news has been released, guns breaking, and you see that the market begins to react to it. Either it's going up or it's coming down. But the real deal is once we see that, we should be able to make our own profit. That's just where the whole deal is. So first thing first, we're going to be looking at where the whole stuff is. Let's start with fundamental part of it and see what is happening fundamentally. Once we're able to see that, then we look at the strength of our currencies, after which we go into the chart and see what is happening technically. Okay, so yes, I'm sharing my screen now, and I want to believe everybody is able to see my screen from their own end. Okay. All right. So first thing first on forexfactory.com, as of this morning, yeah, around 1 a.m. That's like some 6 hours ago. Yeah, we had President Trump speaking. You understand? He made some announcement. That's what the news is telling us. And one of the things is yeah, some few days back we're being told that a new Fed chairman was going to be nominated. But you understand? Some of these things are part of the things that affected the market, making the market to either go up or come down. Then by 2:30 p.m. today, we'll be having news on Canadian dollars. That's the employment change and the unemployment rate. Then by 4 p.m., we have the IV PMI and the news on USD that has to do with prelim University of Michigan consumer sentiment and prelim University of Michigan inflation expectations. Now, well, the news by 2:30 is a high impact news, and the USD coming out by 4 p.m. is high impact. Yeah, so this news should actually move the market. These are some news that could move the markets. Okay, but yeah, let's look at what happened yesterday before we move on, because we're going to be looking at a chart very soon. We had news coming out on GBP and came out negative. Uh, there was a speech by 1:30 by the Bank of England Governor Bailey, and by 2:15 we had news on euros to all about their monetary policies, and for them, their monetary policies still remain the same. Then by 2:30, we had the unemployment claim, which was negative for the USD, stating that 231,000 people are claiming to be unemployed. Then by 2:45, we had the ECB press conference. Then by 4 p.m., we have the JOLTS job opening to, and that too, the report also came out negative. Then by 6:25 p.m., we had Governor Macklem, that's the Bank of Canada. He also spoke, and NZD was on holiday all through. Then the AUD, that's the Reserve Bank of Australia, Governor Bullock, he also spoke too. Now, all these people speaking for the monetary policies on pounds and euros also affected the market in its own way. You understand? But we'll look at the chart now and see what is happening. These were the news that came out yesterday, and market reacted to that. Today, these are the news coming out. But let's look at our currency strength meter and see what is happening. So on the currency strength meter, as of now, as of this morning, what I was saying here, it shows that JPY currently, wow, JPY currently on the 1 hour time frame here is the strongest, showing 100%, then followed by CHF, AUD, NZD, Canadian dollar, the US dollars, euros, and GBP as the weakest. That's what it's showing here. Uh, but let's hold on and see what it's going to show in the next few seconds. It's going to refresh itself again automatically. It's still giving us that same information. JPY is the strongest. So well, if you're seeing it this way, maybe there's going to be a reaction then. Maybe on instrument like USD JPY now we could have on the chart where price will be selling. You understand? But let's look at it on the other currency strength meter and see what it's saying. But this will refresh it manually. And looking at it is showing that JPY is gaining strength. That's just what it's showing us that JPY is gaining strength. That's the only instrument we can see the green arrow on. The strongest from this part here is AUD and NZD, followed by GBP. Then we have the Switzerland franc, then Canadian dollar, JPY on the same wave strength, then USD as the weakest. But this is it because JPY is gaining strength now with the green arrow, it could also go up. You understand? But let's wait and see what we'll see on the chart. The chart will help us to know if that's the way it is. But currently, based on what we're seeing, JPY is strong here, showing that JPY is gaining strength. Okay, so let's go to the chart and see what is actually happening on the chart. Let's go to the chart and see what is happening on the chart. I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Let's see. Okay, I'm with us, please. All right, so first thing, the first instrument you're seeing here is the Euro USD. And based on what we're seeing on candle zero currently, let me zoom in so we can see it. We can see that Euro USD, euros is dropping. You understand? That's why we are having a bearish move on candle zero, showing that dollars is gaining strength compared to what to euros. You understand? Euros is losing strength. That's why it's selling. You understand? That's why we are seeing that bearish move. But if we look at it critically, we'll discover that price actually has been a little bit stiff around this point, because all this while price went up and it's more or less like it's ranging out unless price is able to break below this part now. We could say price will still remain here. This is on my 1 hour time frame anyway. But let's look at it on the daily time frame. We can see that price has gone up and you can see price has dropped back to a new zone. You understand? There's a zone around this point, and that's what we're seeing clearly on our 1 hour time frame. You understand? So unless price is able to break below this side, we can't really see that price is going anywhere. But once it's able to break below this point, then we can have the assurance that price is going to move. So this point we're seeing now is the point to look out for. This point we're seeing around here. You understand? Okay. Let me zoom in so we see it very well. Okay, so this point we're seeing here now, price must break below this part for us to know that, okay, price still wants to continue bearish. But if that doesn't happen and it gets to that point and it respects that point, we're going to be having a reversal back. You understand? Okay, we're going to be having a reversal back around that point. So we could just watch out and see what is going to happen here. What happens here determines what we're going to do. The next instrument we're going to be looking at is USD Let's see what is happening on USD Now, the reason why my mind or I'm a little bit pushed to go to USD JPY most especially, it's because based on what we're seeing on the currency strength meter, how it shows that JPY is strong as of this morning. So let's see. Is that what the market is saying? Yes. Okay, I'm coming. All right, so this is it. Can we see? USD JPY. Look at what it's showing us. On candle zero, we are seeing bearish. Although it showed us on the strength, yeah, it showed us on the currency strength meter that JPY is strong. And that's why we are seeing the bearish candle on USD JPY, showing that JPY is gaining strength. Although let's look at it from the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, we'll discover that for a while, price has actually gone up. In fact, interesting. Let me zoom in so we'll see. When price got to this particular point, a reversal came back down. You remember the last time it got up here, now price came down. Now back to this same point again. So we can see that that rejection to pull back down to this point now is pushing up. There's every possibility if price gets to this point, it could get rejected. But if price is able to break it successfully, we could have a strong move. That point you're seeing is a strong rejection point. Where price is again here, this is another strong rejection point that we're seeing, because see, on higher time frames, zones on higher time frame goes a long way. These are points that we need to look out for. Okay, but let's look at it on 1 hour time frame. On the 1 hour time frame, look at what we're saying. Price, can you see these 2 points were marked on the higher time frame, daily time frame? On my lower time frame, now we can see it on the 1 hour time frame. You can see that these points are zones. You understand? So we need to really look out for these points. You understand? Okay. So let me zoom out here so we see some things. Okay, so now on 1 hour time frame, we can see that price has gone up and it's a little bit stiff around this point. Okay, let's see. These are points. Can you see based on what we're seeing on 1 hour? This point, these zones actually got built before now. Look at it, went up, came back in within that point before it broke it down here. Okay, so look at it now. Price has gotten to that place back when it came down to that same place. And you see, price has respected, and it's more or less like price is now moving sideways around this point. And it's not giving us any definite direction here now. So we need to look out for these 2 points. If it's whichever direction is able to break out from. Either it breaks out of this point successfully or this point. So one of the two. If it breaks out of this point, yes, we could now go for any of the trades, either to buy or to sell. So these are the 2 zones that we need to look out for. Let it break out of that zones completely, then we can follow. But if that doesn't happen, we need to wait. We need to wait. Okay. Okay, so you said if a zone is not a line and your small rectangle which you use in your analysis, is it guided by any number of pips? No. Okay, so understand something. When we talk about a zone, when we are talking about a zone, we are talking about where price got to and it got rejected, where price could not go again. Now, some of the things you need to put into cognizance when you're marking out that point are these shadows. They are also zones. The only thing is their rejection points. Your opening and your closing is very, very important. But the shadows you're also seeing is also giving you information that price got to that point. This was where price got to and it got rejected. So this rectangle box that you're seeing me drawing, I am putting these shadows into consideration, saying, look, it is yet to come out of this point where the shadow got to. There's every possibility that yes, the price can also get to that point and it gets rejected. You understand? So let it close outside the points where the shadows are. It's my crosshair. I'm coming. Look at this now. Let it close outside this point. Can you see? I didn't even put it up to that point, but let it close outside that point. Once it closes outside that point, now I know that yes, price is really picking that direction. That's where price wants to peak. But if it doesn't do that, I think that's why we say when it comes to technicals, we need to be very, very patient. Now, I know sometimes some of us will ask the question, how patient can we be? Extra patient, extra patient. And once you're very, very patient, you will see that opportunity of when to enter. And when you hit it, seriously, you make it. That's just the real truth. It's an important question you ask. So when you're looking at these zones that are being marked out, I'm also putting these shadows into consideration. I am not leaving it out because they also play a part in this market. The shadows you're seeing is a reaction from the buyers and sellers in the market. The shadows you're seeing there, like I said, I repeat again, is a reaction of what the buyers and the sellers are doing in the market. No, let's do this one, let's not do this and that. Then a decision is taken at the end of the day. But yes, don't forget that at a point they got to that side. So you also put it into play. And once you're able to put that into play in cognizance, you pick it to and you add it to your whole analysis. Then you discover that in your entry points, your decisions will always be what? Objective. Okay. All right. Let's look at the next instrument. Let's look at USD CHF. Let's see what is happening on USD CHF. USD CHF. Yes. USD CHF. Okay. So on USD CHF, it's showing us that USD is gaining strength here. All right. We'll look at what is happening on USD CHF. Okay, so Mr. Alebode said, you're asking a question. You want to know how to do buy limit, okay? In case since many may not be positive. Okay. All right, so let me just give you an explanation of how buy limits are being done. Now, one of the things you need to understand is this. We have different pending orders. We have buy stop, sell stop, buy limit, sell limit. Okay, so how do you do it? Now, you want to do your buy limit or sell limit. Very, very interesting. See, the limit orders even gives you more profits than your stop orders and many. But let me explain how it's been done. When you want to do your limit orders, your analysis, like we've always giving us this information, do your analysis on the higher time frame. You see, from this higher time frame, let me go back to the USD JPY. So you see something there. USD JPY from the higher time frame. Can you see? These points were marked. In fact, let me clear the whole thing we are saying here now for now. Okay, so this is it. D1. Then you zoom out. The very moment you zoom out, you're going to see all the zones. These are zones, rejection point. This was where price got to. Remember, I got to this high as it was coming down. This is the next place it got to, and it got rejected. These are strong zones that you need to put in place. Now, you've seen it. Mark it down. It's a strong rejection point. There's every possibility that price will get there. Now, some people would have seen this happening sometimes ago, that price got rejected here. Now came down to this point. Somebody somewhere will wait for it here. This is on daily. You understand? It could be on your 4 hours time frame too. Somebody somewhere will wait for you that, okay, when price gets to this point, because it got rejected, let me have my sell limit around this point. So your sell limit price will come and pick you. Yes, price has picked you around this point where your sell limit is. It's interesting. Now I'm going to explain something to you. Look at this one. It got to this high, right? So if you're doing that and your price is around, let's say, okay, yes, this is it. This was the high. This price got to, it got rejected. Now you are putting your sell limit here and price is coming to pick you. Remember this high where the shadow is? Your stop loss should be above it. That's for your sell limit. You understand? Should be above it. Let me bring this a little bit down. So your stop loss can be around somewhere around here on the top. Now, your sell limit, price picks you here. If price picks you here, for any reason, it goes back a little. Now, this is on 4 hours time frame, mind you. It will take a good amount of time for price to touch this your stop loss because it is above this former high here. Now, from that point to this point, do you know how much you will make? It's going to be a good. Now, this is moving fine. It's going to sell because you've seen the point that it got rejected at a higher time frame at a very long time ago. So these are strong points. That's how it's being done. Look out for your rejection point on your higher time frame and begin to what? Emphasize. When price begins to move, you just place it there. Once price gets to that point, there's every possibility that price will get rejected. The same thing, likewise for your buy limits too. This part you're seeing that price got rejected here. If we go back in time to see, let me see. Let me mark it out. Okay. Look at. All right. Coming back in time, can we see around this point? There was issues. Price had issues here and from here, Pam. This was what he did till he got up here. Now, that's the same thing we are saying here now. Price got to this point and is getting rejected. Somebody somewhere would have had his buy limit around this point, and price will pick him here. Now, where is his stop loss going to be? His stop loss will be below this particular section. Having his stop loss below here, price did not even get there at all. And look, price touch did a little drawback. There was a little drawdown for him there. But after this point, bam, look at it, price has gone up. This person will also close in profit. So that's how your buy limit and your sell limit orders are being done. Do you understand? Now, once you pick all those points, you can look out, go to your lower time frames and see how price, what price is doing. Then it will help you in picking. You see, you can't pick your points, your instant entries on higher points on the higher time zones. You have to go to your lower time frames to see the best point to enter, and you pick it. And how do you enter to? You also look out for those zones on the lower time frames. That helps you. Okay. Oh, you're welcome. All right, so let's move on. USD CHF, like I said, USD CHF now. So USD CHF, let me zoom out. Let's see what is happening on USD CHF. Okay, on my daily time frame, we can see that price is actually dropping on USD CHF. It's been dropping, 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 dropping. I'm trying to push back to the upside too. Okay, so this is it. Look at it from this point. At a point, it ranged around this point, and after that, broke it. Now it's here. This is a new support that price has formed, and you can see that price is trying to push back to the upside. Now, okay, let me zoom in so we can see. Can we see around this point to price is ranging? Okay, so let's come to our 1 hour time frame and see. Can you see? It's moving sideways. So one of the two will happen. But if we are to follow this chart based on what we've seen for years now, USD has been more of what? A selling instrument. It's been more of a selling instrument. And one of the strategies I push towards is this. Whichever instrument you want to trade on, go and look at the trend. The trend should be your friend, not your enemy. The trend should be what? Should be your friend. So the very first thing you need to do is to look at the trend. What is the trend saying? The trend is saying sell, more of sell on USD CHF. Fine. It has given you its opinion that this it has shown you the real deal that the market is doing. What should you then look out for? Look out for sell opportunity. That's one secret about this market too. If you really and be disciplined with it, you understand? Be disciplined with it. Just do your sell, look for your sell opportunities, and that is going to work out. So let's see. This is one point here. Okay. So I'm going to be dragging this down. Okay. So this is another point. So what am I doing here? I am drawing this trend, this particular trend for us to see. Okay, so let me zoom in so we can see. This is on my daily time frame, right? Oh, no, on my 1 hour time frame, sorry. This is on my 1 hour time frame. And based on what we're seeing on my 1 hour time frame, price has respected this point twice. You see, from this point, came down to this point, touched it here, respected it, touched it here, respected it. So unless price is able to break above this particular section, based on what we're seeing on this trend, I don't expect it to go anywhere. That's it. Unless price is able to break above this point, and besides, it's moving. These are 2 points we need to look out for. See, let me pick this from here. Okay, so price has also gotten rejected here. Remember, around this point, it was a resistance, but it got broken and became support. And now price is having issues around that point. You can see when it got to this high, price is beginning to follow it straight down. So there's a possibility that around this trend, once price gets to this point, it could respect this point and what? Push back to the downside. So once price respects it and is able to break below this side again, there's going to be a strong bearish movement based on my own opinion and based on what the chart is showing. If it's able to break below this particular point here, there might be a very strong bearish move on this particular instrument. Yes. So let's just watch out for this instrument. That's that on USD CHF. Let's look at what is happening on USD CAD. USD CAD. Okay, Mandu Timothy, you're asking, you said enter using 5 minutes. Okay, so 5 minutes time frame. One of the things is, what kind of trader are you? You need to know the kind of trader you are first before you now say, I want to do 5 minutes or 15 minutes and that. So 5 minutes and 15 minutes, I feel you're a scalper. You scalper, you want to scalp, right? And for scalping too, there are rules and regulations to it. So I'll just give you, let me just say this on scalping. One of the very first thing you need to know is if you want to scalp, the first rule is that market should be volatile, should be very, very volatile. And once it's volatile, the next thing you do is, yes, it should be directional too. In that volatility, is it going up or is coming down? It's not the one that is going up and it's coming down at the same time. No, it should pick a direction for you. Once it picks that direction, then you will know what to do. Either you're going up or coming down. Okay, you see, you didn't even say anything, and now you're just telling me that you're a scalper, which is just the truth, and that's why you're on 5 minutes. So you're scalping. So that's that. All right, let's move on. USD CAD, please. USD CAD, please. We still have some instrument to look at. Don't let me leave all those instruments. We need to touch all the instruments. It's very, very important we do that. Okay, USD CAD. All right, so just like we all know, there've been a lot of issues between the Canadian and the US economy, and woo, it's just been so like that. Can we see? This is on daily time frame now, and zooming out, we can see that price has gone up for a while now, back down, and it's just between these points. Within this, there's a zone around this point and this point that price has been moving on. You understand? But let's look at what is happening here. So this is on my daily time frame. Let's look at it on 1 hour time frame now. Price is being rejected around this point. Okay. Now, another secret I would like to, okay, so there's this strategy that I'm going to be teaching them in class one of these days during our advanced classes called the candle range theory. I would like us to go look at that. Anybody that can get his hands laid, or you have the opportunity of coming to the Lagos class, well, it will be announced, so we'll get to know. There's going to be, I'll work on that and we'll talk on when to do it. There are some interesting stuff that when you see it, you know it's going to happen. Now, something like that happened around this point, and that's why we're seeing this bearish move. And the interesting thing is when you see some of these signals around some certain zones, it makes it interesting when you see it. If you see it around the resistance point or the support point. But don't worry, don't let me talk too much about it. The day we're going to be having it, I will expect a lot of us to be in class. And maybe hopefully we can also have for the online section so that for those that are not even in Lagos, they can also partake out of it. Yes, can also partake out of it. So this point, price got rejected here, and we can see that it's coming down. So based on what we are saying, I will say to make it fair, price has actually moved just between these 2 points. So unless price is able to get out of these points that we are seeing now currently, we might not have any serious movement. And you see some of the movements we've been seeing on some of these particular instruments is as a result of what is happening in their economy and the business transaction between them and other economies like the UX and Canadian dollar. Now it's been more of the banter between the US president and the Canadian economy too. You understand? They've been dragging between themselves and the likes. So all those things are part of the reasons why we see that this instrument has been a little bit stiff and choppy in terms of its movement. But not to say that's not also pushing us outside away us trading the instrument. So where price is currently, there's a zone around this point. So for us to be able to trade this, we need to hold on for price to break below this part and see. If it's able to break below this part successfully, we could have price dropping down. But if that does not happen and it respects this zone here, there's a zone around this point, and once if it's able to break below that point, then we could have price pushing to the upside. But if that doesn't happen, I'm not sure price is going to move. You understand? Okay. So that's that on USD card. Let's look at GBP USD. GBP USD. GBP USD. I'm going to tell us, please. Okay. And GBP USD it is. Okay. All right. So Olabisi Makinde, you're asking, is this lecture recorded and what platform can you watch? Okay, so you can go on YouTube. Go to YouTube and you'll see it there. Go to YouTube. Yes, you'll see it there on YouTube. Just go to the Rally Trade platform on YouTube and search for it. You'll see it there. Okay. All right. GBP USD. I'm on it now. So on GBP USD, looking at it from the daily time frame now, we discover that price got to this high, got rejected. Okay. So when price got to this high and got rejected, I'm coming. I want to see something. Let's go on. Okay. Nice. Okay. Okay. So price got to this high and it got rejected. Went a little bit higher again, got rejected, and now price dropped. Okay. So can we see, based on what we're seeing now, price got to this particular section here and a zone here now, price is rejecting around this point. One of the things we need to look out is there's a possibility that if this man closes bearish where bullish where he is, price could reverse back to the upside, meaning GBP could gain strength and it will push back up. Let's see it on, can you see? Based on what we're seeing on the lower time frame, we can see it here. So there's every possibility that price could push to the upside here. Price could push to the upside here. So this is it. If price is able to close above this point for me, based on what I'm seeing here, if price is able to close above this point, we should still go bullish. You should still go bullish on GBP USD. I'm expecting a bullish move based on the pattern we are saying, but I'm not saying that it's going to be bullish. You understand? I'm not saying it's going to be bullish. I'm just giving out my own expectation, what I'm emphasizing. Price could go bullish around that point. Once price is able to break above this part that has been marked out. But if unless that happens, I'm not saying price moving. Okay, so let's just wait and see, is price going to break above this point or not? So if price is able to break above this point where it's been marked out for us successfully, then we could have that bullish move. But if that doesn't happen, we could have price just testing this point and reversing back. And based on the trend we are seeing, this is on 1 hour. Based on the trend we are seeing, we're seeing it giving us that lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So we could have the same repetition around this point. You understand? This is the lower low now, going back to give us one lower high. So if it respects this point, and it could drop from that point. So one of the two will happen around this point. Either it breaks above or it gets rejected around that point. Okay. So that's that on GBP USD. So I'll take one more currency pair, then from there we move straight to commodities. Okay. Let's look at AUD USD. Let's look at AUD USD. All right, so on AUD USD now, I'm on AUD USD. So looking at AUD USD, we can see that price has actually gone up. This is the highest point it has gotten to in a while now. This is the highest point it has gotten to in a while. Okay, and it got rejected here. Okay, from that point down. Now it's just been between these 2 points. Looking at it, there's a possibility that this could still go up because around this point, price gapped up, and we can see that it came almost close to filling it. There's still a little gap to filling that point, but yes, price could still push to the upside. Now there are two movements here. It's more or less like it moved sideways, but we might not say it because it's on daily time frame. Okay, now look at this. Is it now? Price is trying to push back up, touched this zone, and it's trying to reverse back to the upside. There's a zone there, you understand? Touched it, and price respected it, and it's pushing back to the upside. Now there's another zone here. So this is the real deal here. One of the two will happen. Either it breaks above this point or it respects this point. And we can see that price got into that box, and price was a little bit stiff and pushed back down, respected it. Now price again opened and was bearish, but we can see that the buyers are trying to react, they are responding, and that's why we can see that the wick we are seeing, the shadow, yes, is very long. And sometimes one of the things we need to understand about this shadow is this: if the shadow sometimes is longer than the real body of the candle, it's giving you an indication that there's a reversal coming. You understand? So, and this is happening around a zone. Yes, there's a resistance zone here, and look at what it's doing. So, if it's able to break above this particular section now, we could have that strong bullish move. You understand? So, let's just hold on and see. Wait and see. Like we said, waiting is a strategy. Unless it breaks above this point, don't do anything. But once it breaks above it and closes above it successfully, you strike. Okay, so that's that on AUD. Let's go to commodities now. Let's look at oil. Let's look at oil. Let's go to oil. Then from oil, we'll look at silver. Let's go to oil. Then we'll look at silver. Okay. Okay. Start with oil. All right. So some of the reactions we've been having on oil has been reactions due to some economic powers doing some stuffs. A very good example is the um whole stuff about US and Venezuela. If we all remember how Venezuela, US president was talking about their oil being gotten, the oil being gotten from Venezuela is going to be gotten paid by US is going to buy it. And some few days ago, I was reading also on news that about $500 million or something has been fully paid for the Venezuela oil and likes. These are some of the informations that has been pushing price on oil. These are some of the information that has been pushing price on oil. So looking at it from the daily time frame now, we'll see that price has actually gone back to the up. You see, it came down at a point, now back into the same point, and so you can see there's a zone around this point based on what it is. But this market has actually been reacting based on fundamentals, economic powers, and the likes. So are we still expecting such a move? Yes, we could have moves like that and price could go up, but based on what price is showing us now, technically, is at a particular zone, and based on the candle we are seeing on candle one, is more or less like an indecision is coming. The second one to indecision is beginning to move sideways. Now, in situations like that, it's more or less like price is ranging, moving by the side, and we are not even saying whether it wants to buy or sell. So we'll just say, hold on, let price picks a direction. Although based on the pattern we see here, uh, based on the pattern we are seeing here, showed us that price wants to go up and price actually went up. Now it has gotten to this zone. In fact, let me build this based on the trend here. If we are to look at it this way, and let me pull it this way. Let's look at it this way. So price is really, really steep around this point. So one of the two will happen. If price is able to break out of this box here successfully, yes. If he's able to close to the upside, then fine, we could expect it to go up. But if he doesn't and he respects this point and he reverses back down, then we know he's going to sell. So let's watch out and see what price is going to do. But there's indecision based on what we're saying around this point now. It's just tight. It's not giving us any bullish or bearish candle here. You understand? It's more or less like doji doji. Okay, so that's that on oil. That's that on oil. Ekpemski is saying we should look at NZD-USD. Okay, so let me be done with all these ones, then we'll come back to that. Okay, all right, so let's look at, all right, we can even see based on what is happening on this oil now, can you see price has been stiff, a little bit stiff around that point, and what we're seeing on candle 09 is showing one bearish market coming out on candle 0, but never say never. There's still time. There's still time. It can close bullish, can go up and close bullish. So let's just wait and see what price is going to do. Okay. Okay. So let's look at silver. Let's go to silver. Okay, I can also see someone is requesting for coffee. All right, we'll look at coffee too. Let's look at coffee. So this is silver, and based on what we are saying from the daily time frame, you discover that silver goes to the highest it ever got to in its time. You understand? This is the highest he ever got to. And since that time, price dropped. And yes, I'm not surprised for that. Remember, we've always said it that price will always get rejected once it gets to a new high. And we can see that massive fall on silver. Look at it. Look at the way it dropped down to this point. This point we are seeing here is a support. This point we're seeing here is a support. Don't forget, it got broken around this point. When price came, got up to this point, broke, went up, this. Now, we can see that price is back to that same point again. One of the two will happen. Although this is on daily time frame, if price is able to close there, then we could expect that price is going to go up. But if that doesn't happen, no. Look at it here now. This is on my 1 hour time frame. It got down to this point, and we can see. So one of the two will happen here. Is either price breaks below this part back or reverses back to the upside and continues that bullish movement. There's even another zone around this point, but it's a minor one because when it gapped down to this point, price was able to cover. After covering for this particular gap, can you see that it came back down? So one of the two is going to happen. Either it reverses back to the upside. So let's just look at it. It must be one of these. If it respects this point, then go up. If it doesn't and breaks below it, then it's coming back down. That's that on silver. Let's look at coffee. Let's look at coffee. Okay. I'm on coffee now. So please, let's understand something. I know for some of us we might want to trade coffee. We might want to trade coffee, but I need to just give us this valid and important information. Okay, you're welcome, Mr. Alabisi. You're watching on YouTube. Okay, you're welcome. All right. So for coffee, you want to trade on coffee. One of the things you need to understand is this. You need good funds to trade on coffee. Coffee is very, very volatile. More volatile than some instruments that you see on commodity. Yes, it's very, very volatile. So please, you want to trade on coffee, please and please make sure you have good funds in your account. You need good funds, and when I know some of us want to request, like how much? You must have in millions. I'm not talking of 1 million, 2 million. Have at least, you don't have money to trade coffee, have at least 3 million from, in fact, 5 million. Good. That's interesting because if he's going to be giving you the profit, to give it to you well. Yes. And there are times that you might have drawdowns too. So, but the main thing is now remember, just understand, we say drawdown. That doesn't mean that that's how it's going to end. But sweet information, look at this. This is on coffee. Whoever would have seen this would have known that, oh, it's a sweet thing for me to do. Look at this point. This is bearish engulfing. This is what we call bearish engulfing. Price closed here, it gapped up, opened here, did as if it was going up, came down, swallowed the previous candle. From that point, anybody that has seen this would have known that it gave a bearish signal and he entered sell. This person would have made massive profit on coffee. This person would have made a massive, sweet profit on coffee. All right, so price has dropped to this point now where it is. This is on my daily time frame. So let me zoom out a little and see what is happening on price. Now, if you look at price on coffee, look at where it is. Look at where price is on coffee. You see, price got as high as this point and it got rejected from this particular section. And from that point on, it's been dropping till it got here, did this, and came down. Now, the same thing again, price is getting to this place. There's a minor zone around this point. There's a possibility that price could still push up a little and still drop. This is where the real deal is for this particular zone. Can you see the last time it got here? Can you see? Pushed up, did this, broke further down, this, back up into that same point. Now again to this same point. Can you see? So price is having issues there. So one of the two will happen. Either it breaks below this point successfully or okay, come in. If it breaks below this point, we should be looking at price coming down to this part. So around this part too, you could be looking at. So this is a situation where you can say, okay, let me be looking out for my buy limit positions. You understand? Buy limit, sell limit, and the likes. These are good situations for it. Can you see? So now you can come to your lower time frame. Let's begin to see. In fact, even from 4 hours, you can also see on our 4 hours time frame. Can you see that price is respecting the zone? And that's why you're having this bullish candle here. If you look at it on our 1 hour candle, what's price saying? Can we see price is being rejected around that point? There's a possibility that price could go up here. So based on that, let's just mark this out. If you're able to see price closing above this particular section, there could be a bullish move on coffee. And another information that will help you on coffee is this. Who is the largest producer of coffee? Forget the fact that, yes, coffee started from Ethiopia. I think Brazil is the largest producer of coffee, right? So go and look at what is happening in the economy of Brazil. What kind of weather is working there now? Is it favorable for coffee and their monetary policies and the likes? If that is if you're able to get those important informations, then I think you know what next to do on coffee. Yes. Okay. Oh, you made 500,000 following news, downtrend pattern, though in your demo. Oh, should have tried that in your real account. Oh, you'll be smiling now. Only use what you'll be doing, please. Okay. Okay. You're of the opinion that coffee demand for coffee is low because people are not demanding for weight. Now, some of the things you need to understand is this. What affects coffee? What affects coffee? Do you know the amount of people that takes coffee? Now, weather and climate is one of those things that affects coffee. And the truth is this, people will keep on taking coffee. Have you been to some of those European nations where snow is the order of the day? You see them taking tea and coffee, tea and coffee, hot coffee. That's just it. So these are part of the reasons why the price will always move. Now, when it is not like that, during summer, you already know that coffee is not really going to move. But wait till winter. Once it's winter, around winter, go and look at some of those countries that consume coffees on the high side. Around winter, you discover that their purchase of coffee is going to be high. So these are some little secrets you need to understand about trading coffee. Look out for the weathers and climate. All these things are part of the things that affects the movement of coffee. So it's not just about people are not buying coffee. No, weather and climate. You understand? It's just like this. Let me let me give us an instance. It's just like in Nigeria now. We have this state that is very cold. That's Jos. Go to Jos, you discover that almost every day in places like Panshin, they take tea every morning. They take tea, and you have those bakeries too in large numbers there. Why? They are producing bread because they know that people will buy tea, and hardly do you go to any house that you don't see them eating tea and bread. Now, why do you think that is like that? It's based on what? The weather of Jos. So go and look at some of the weather and climate of some of these European nations. You discover that once is winter, go and look at what happens on the price of coffee. It's going to change because around that point they know they need it. So price will go up and many people begin to buy. So price begins to change. But once it's around summertime, for most of these countries and that really consume coffee, you begin to see that price begins to dwindle on coffee. Then there are other news that could affect coffee. You understand? Okay. So like Mr. Oluwaseyi is saying, Mr. Oluwaseyi said he made 500,000 following news. So please, Mr. Oluwaseyi, can you drop it for me to know the news you followed exactly, the particular news you followed that affected coffee? Can you drop it on the chat section for me? Thank you very much. I will appreciate that. So we could also share more light on that. Thanks. Okay. All right, so we move to the next instrument now. Let's go to indices. Let's look at indices because time is fast spent and we just have like 6 minutes more here. We have like 6 minutes more. So, and I'm going to touch the index market. I need to touch it. Okay. With us. All right. So we start with US 30, then we move to US 100. All right, let me just go there. Okay, so this is US. Hey, I'm not trading here. Okay, US 30. Then we go to US 100. I'm coming. Then we go to US 500. Then US 2000. Then DE40. Let's look at that. These are the instruments I'm going to be looking at for the index market. US 30, US 100. Will be next, US 500 will be next, US 2000, then DE30. So let's start with US 30 first. We just US 30. So on US 30 now, we can see that price has gone up, respected this zone, dropped. Look at it, got there the first time, dropped, got there again, did this, dropped back down, even gapped down. Now price is coming to that part of that gapping and is having issues. One of these two will happen. Either it breaks above this point, and if it breaks above this point, then we should expect price to push up, because if you look at the index market is more of a bullish market, and we can see even on daily time frame, if you discover if you look at it very well, you discover that price has actually been moving sideways between these 2 points. This is it. This is point one, and this is point two. Price has been moving sideways from these 2 points onward. It's just been like this, moving like this. So one of the two will happen. From this point, every possibility is showing that based on the ranging, if we are to follow the ranging, there's a possibility that price is going up. That's what I would say based on the ranging movement we've seen. Price came down to this point, respected, went up, came back down. Also, can you see? So we could expect that price will what? Go up. That's what is showing on US 30. So there's a possibility if price is able to break above this point now successfully, we could be looking out for a bullish move on US 30. The next one is US 100. Let's see what is happening on US 100. These are all the US stocks. You understand? US stocks, look at this too. Also, price came down, is around this point. It's more almost like US 32. So let's just mark it out. Let's mark the zone out. Let's mark this point out. Let's mark this point out, because if you look at it on daily time frame for this is a little bit separate from what we're saying on US 32, but it's just between these 2 points. It respected these two zones. Look at it. Got there sometimes ago, got rejected, came back to that same point. Is now back down. And the 2 points it got to, it respected these points too. From this point down to this point. Now we can also see the same thing. So there's a possibility that if price breaks above this point, it could go up. But if it doesn't, and it gets back down, pushes down further, there's a possibility that price, if it breaks below this part, we could have more bearish move. You understand? Around this point. So these are areas that we can look out for too on the chart. Okay. Okay, so that's that for that. Let's look at the next instrument, which is US 500. I feel they are all giving the same vibe. US 30, US 100, US 500, they're all giving the same vibes. So let's just look at it. Daily time frame to let me zoom out so we can see. So can we see the same thing is what is happening here too? Can we see? So let's just watch out and see. Based on where it is, it gapped down to this point and price is pushing back, even though to the it's covering this gap. In fact, it has even covered the gap. I would say it has covered the gap, right? So there's every possibility that price is able to break above this part too. Yeah, we could have that bullish move. So let's just watch out and see what price is going to do. US 2000, US 2000, okay. Okay, so US 2000 is a little bit different here. Based on what we are saying here, can you see? Gave this move, and this happened on a support. Price has gone up and remaining. There's a minor zone here. So let's just watch out and see. Is price going to break above this point or not? If price is able to break above this particular section successfully, then we could have that bullish move on US 2000. Okay. Now, DE30. DE30. There's been a strong bearish push on DE30 in a while now. Can you see? It's been giving us that bearish move, bearish move. But as of this morning, based on what it's showing, it's giving us another bullish move around this point. In fact, if we are to follow the trend of what it did, or this is on 1 hour anyway, based on what we're seeing on this 1 hour, can we see if we are to follow this trend? It's okay. Coming. Can we see? From this point down. Mm. So price is actually having issues here from this point. Look at it on this man now coming down. So one of the two will happen. Either it breaks above this point or it respects. Can we see? This is the next candle is also building. Can you see? Is more or less like looking like he wants to respect that zone, but nobody knows. But if he's respecting that point, there could be a strong movement back down based on the trend we've seen on this 1 hour. But if he breaks above it and keeps on moving, then it means price wants to break above the minor resistance around this point. There's a resistance here, which we are all saying, yeah. So it got broken around this point, and that could be it. Okay. So that's that on DE40. Okay. Okay. All right. So yes, Ekpemski, you said NZD USD, right? So let me just look at NZD USD, then we'll call it a day on this. Okay, thank you very much. NZD USD. Let's look at that too. NZD USD. That's the last instrument I'm checking for today. NZD USD. All right. So NZD USD, looking at it, we discovered that price got to this high, came back down, and now it's pushing back up. So what is NZD USD doing? Let's zoom out. Let's zoom out. Okay. So can we see, based on what we're seeing on NZD USD, we also discovered that NZD USD for a long time has actually been more of a bearish move. But we discovered that price has been having issues around this point. Can we see? Got to this point, got rejected, came back down to that same point, got rejected. Now, are we going to have price break below this part? Nobody knows, but let's see. It could happen like that. Price is having issues here and everything. So this could just be a minor push to the upside, and it continue that reversal back. Can you see? There's a zone around that point. So there's every possibility. Price is, since price is unable to break above this part, we could have price coming back down to this point and breaking below. So from what we're saying here, there could be that move could be bearish. Going to be bearish from what we're saying here. There's a rejection around that point. So price is expecting that zone. So that's that on NZD USD. Thank you very much for today's money market review. It's been an interesting one, and I hope we are able to make some good profits for ourselves in this market. Have a lovely week ahead. Bye for now.